Standing tall on Pad B at Launch Complex 1 is our 60th Electron rocket, ready to go to space for an Earth imaging mission for BlackSky. It's a beautiful afternoon to launch with the countdown to liftoff scheduled for 12:17 local time or 23:17 UTC. My name is Sam Peters, and with me is Hannah Jury from our Electron project engineering team. We'll be taking you through today's mission to space, set to launch in just over 16 minutes from now.
Thank you, Sam. It certainly is a stellar afternoon to go to space. Today's mission for BlackSky is headed to a 470-kilometre circular low Earth orbit with Gen-3. Gen-3 is the first of a new series of BlackSky spacecraft that will join their constellation of Earth imaging satellites already on orbit. We started launching for BlackSky all the way back in 2019, when Electron launches were still in their single digits. Our mission today is called Fasten Your Space Belts, and it's the first of multiple dedicated missions on Electron that are lined up for BlackSky's constellation. Constellation building requires flexibility and control over how, when, and where your satellites are deployed, and that's a service we're glad to be providing for our customer today. For more about their mission, here's a video from BlackSky. Making us the most prolific launch provider for their constellation to date. BlackSky is one of our earliest and longest-standing mission partners, and it's great to be back on the pad with them once again to advance and expand their constellation.
Now, if you've seen enough Electron launches before, you might have noticed that the nose cone for today's mission is looking a little bit longer than it usually does. That's because we're flying an extended fairing today, which better accommodates the dimensions of BlackSky's new Gen-3 satellite. Customized fairings are a simple way that we can tailor Electron launches to meet a wide range of mission requirements. Now each sit atop the same launch vehicle with a common interface to the fairing, which reduces integration time and cost.
All of this to say that the beauty of our launch vehicle is that with a common launch platform, we're able to support multiple mission profiles, whether you're flying in orbit or below it.
Now we are at T-minus 13 minutes in the countdown. Let's get an update from the mission control team as they run the go, no-go poll for today's launch. Our operators in mission control will report in on Electron's different systems and confirm with a go or no-go if everything's looking good for launch. This ranges from the payload status and the rocket's environmental conditions to its propellant tank levels and whether the skies will remain clear at liftoff.
That's right, and from range control in Māhia, our operators there will report on the range's readiness and Launch Complex 1's ground systems to confirm the pad is ready for liftoff. All operators report up to the launch director in charge of operations, and today, in mission control, our launch director is Michael Pearson. Let's tune in now to the poll as that status update gets underway.
And LD to all stations on mission, proceeding with the go, no-go sequence. Stage.
Stage is go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC is go.
VCon.
VCon is go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
MET.
MET is go.
MM.
MM is go.
And LD sub.
LD sub is go.
Okay, all stations, that concludes the go, no-go sequence. We are T-minus 11 minutes, 15 seconds and counting. We are go for terminal count auto sequence at T-minus 10 minutes. From this time, the 3-word hold procedure is in effect.
The countdown clock is continuing and we are go for liftoff of our 60th Electron mission. We're at T-minus 10 minutes and counting, squaring us up for the launch attempt right on 12:17 local time or 23:17 UTC.
We are about to reach another Electron milestone today with our 60th rocket on the pad, ready for launch. Now, 60 launches is an impressive feat, but how about 60 rockets in 60 seconds? Let's enjoy this hot and fast recap of every Electron launch to date.
Is having our very own launch site to fly from. Launch Complex 1 opened as the world's first private orbital launch site and has been the primary launch site for Electron ever since. Having our own launch site means we're always free of traffic jams. With 2 launch pads to cycle between, a 24/7 launch operations team, and rockets always ready to go, Launch Complex 1 helps keep access to space open for the satellites that need to get there. Earlier this week, we caught up with our Director of Test and Launch Operations and today's Launch Director, Michael Pearson.
Now, it takes about 9 minutes to get to space from LC-1, so stay tuned for liftoff in around 5 minutes as we embark on our 60th Electron launch. The mission begins with liftoff, of course, and shortly after we launch, we quickly reach a critical milestone called max Q. This is when the aerodynamic stress on the rocket is at its greatest. Once we pass through max Q at around 2.5 minutes into the flight, the rocket's first stage propellant is depleted. At that point, the 9 Rutherford engines will shut down, the first and second stages will separate, and the stage 2 Rutherford engine will come to life.
Once we make it through staging, Electron's protective fairing shell will separate and fall away. This action exposes the kick stage and BlackSky's Gen-3 satellite to space for the very first time ahead of payload deployment. At around 6.5 minutes into the mission, we perform a unique operation called battery hot swap. We'll go into that in a bit more detail as the milestone occurs. Then, at the 9-minute mark, the second stage will shut down its engine. The kick stage with BlackSky's satellite will separate before entering a transfer orbit, coasting around the Earth for about 40 minutes.
And once that pass is completed, we ignite our Curie engine on the kick stage to circularize our orbit around Earth before the BlackSky satellite can be separated and join its Earth imaging constellation.
Before we get to liftoff, Electron operations will enter the final count. At T-minus 2 minutes, control of the countdown is taken over by Electron's flight computer, which will manage final operations autonomously. Our launch director will then count the clock down from T-minus 10 seconds, with Electron's engines set to ignite at T-minus 2 seconds for a liftoff right on T0.
That's right, and very soon we will be on our way to space for the 60th launch. We're bringing up the audio channels now for mission control to listen through that countdown in real time. So we'll be back with you shortly after liftoff.
Auto sequence is locked.
And confirm all expected flight computer ASGOs are green.
ASGOs are green.
Okay, all stations, we are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. LD is go for launch.
The vehicle is fully on entire power. FTS is green and enable for flight.
Box load is complete. System is in recirculation. Anti-geysering is disabled.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 tanks are pressed for flight.
High flow engine purges enabled.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
launch, over.
Stage 1 propulsion nominal.
Fasten your space belts. We are on our way to space with Electron. Velocity and altitude are increasing towards our target of around 27,000 kilometers an hour and an insertion altitude of around 205 kilometers. Now that we've cleared the launch pad, the next major milestone is max Q. This is the point during the flight in which Electron experiences the highest aerodynamic stress that we can expect during ascent. Now, let's listen into mission control for that crucial call.
Cleared max Q.
AGP discharge nominal.
There goes Electron sailing cleanly through max Q and carrying onwards to space. You gotta love a daytime launch. We are getting some beautiful views from the onboard cameras back at Earth right now. Electron is now at an altitude of around 21 kilometers and traveling at speeds past 2,900 kilometers per hour. Coming up next is a particularly busy sequence of events, each occurring with only seconds of each other. Electron will first perform main engine cutoff, what we call MECO, which will shut down the Stage 1 Rutherford engines. That's followed by stage separation and then ignition of its space-optimized Rutherford engine to carry on with the mission. You can watch it all unfold across these camera views shortly.
Stage 1 propulsion holding nominal. Stand by for MECO in 30 seconds.
"15 seconds to staging."
Entered burnout detect mode.
MECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
Stage 2 ignition confirmed.
And that is exactly what we wanted. MECO, stage separation, and second stage ignition all performed flawlessly on Electron's 60th flight. The rocket's second stage fired up healthy and is now continuing well on its way to orbit with BlackSky's Gen-3 payload, traveling now at more than 8,000 kilometers per hour. With the weight of the first stage gone, it's time to drop some more and streamline the journey to space for the second stage. Electron's fairing will soon split and eject its nose cone halves, introducing Gen-3 to the vacuum of space.
"15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Engines full power. And liftoff. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Vehicle punching downrange.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
At T plus 30 seconds and counting, Falcon 9 has successfully lifted off from Space Launch Complex 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Coming up next, the vehicle will be passing through max Q, which is the point in the mission profile where the vehicle experiences the greatest amount of aerodynamic pressure.
Power and telemetry nominal.
Good call out there. As it ascends through the Earth's atmosphere. We should be hearing that call out for max Q in just about 15 seconds from now.
Mach 1.
And another good call out there.
Max Q is, of course, a critical milestone for us here at SpaceX because it is that period of maximum aerodynamic pressure on the rocket during ascent.
Max Q.
And confirmation that we've made it through. So coming up next, we'll have 3 events happening in quick succession, starting with MECO, followed by Stage SEP, and then Second Engine Start 1, or SES-1 for short.
Now, main engine cutoff, or MECO, is where all 9 Merlin 1D engines shut down in preparation for stage separation, which is where the first stage separates from the second stage. Following that, the MVAC engine on the second...
MVAC chill has started.
Good call out there. Following that, the MVAC engine on the second stage will light, which is called out over the nets as Second Engine Start 1, or SES-1.
That first engine burn of MVAC will last several minutes and propel the second stage and the payload to orbit. In addition to these three major events, the fairing halves will also...
Guidance is nominal, 200 seconds remaining.
HUB discharge holding nominal, approaching up SWAT in 30 seconds.
Throttling down.
Battery cheaters confirmed.
Confirm hot SWAT successfully.
Electron has successfully completed its battery hot swap on the second stage. We're now 6 minutes into the flight at an altitude of 204 kilometres. We've passed most key milestones for this launch, with only a few more to go, including second engine cutoff. At SECO, the Rutherford engine will throttle down and then stop in preparation for kick stage separation. This marks the end of the first phase of the mission, which is expected at around 9 minutes into the flight.
Now, the journey from the launch pad to the mission's target altitude takes less than 10 minutes altogether. Now, at T+7 minutes since launch, that means we only have a couple more minutes to go until Electron concludes this first phase of the mission. Our speed is at more than 19,000 kilometers an hour, so not much more to go now until we reach that optimal insertion speed of around 27,000 kilometers an hour.
Only a few seconds now until we reach SECO, or second engine cutoff. This is the moment when Electron's second stage Rutherford engine shuts down ahead of stage separation, with the kick stage carrying BlackSky's Gen-3 payload. Standing by with mission control for that call.
SECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
Nominal transfer orbit achieved.
Beautiful. A clean engine shutdown for Electron and a smooth separation for the kick stage with BlackSky's Gen-3 satellite. Great work so far by today's mission operators, and now it is on to the next phase of the mission to place Gen-3 on orbit with its constellation. The kick stage takes about 45 minutes to complete its transfer orbit around Earth, and that'll set it up nicely for payload deployment for Gen-3. Now, we said it at the start, but it bears repeating. From Earth to orbit in 9 minutes. 60 launches in, and it still doesn't get old.
For now, the kick stage is in cruise mode, making its journey around to the opposite side of the globe ahead of its circularization burn from our relightable Curie engine. 40 minutes until that milestone, so for now, we'll kick back and wait for the kick stage to come alive. You can track the mission's progress around Earth with this tracking animation. If we're above your town, give us a wave. We'll see you back here shortly.
And we are already getting some great views on your screen there, and we are hoping that all of you joining us from the ground in the Exumas are going to have a great view.
Continue on a nominal trajectory.
Great view of landing too. And there's another call out that everything is headed in the right direction.
Now, coming up in just about a minute from now, we should hear that
Stage
call.
1 FTS has saved.
Another good call out there. In about a minute from now, we should hear that call out for landing bird startup on the Falcon 9 first stage, which, as a reminder, is on the left-hand side of your screen.
We're also getting great views of those titanium grid fins that are helping to steer the booster on its way back to Earth.
Now, this landing burn will be the final burn of the booster as it descends back to Earth. And as a reminder, it'll be...
Stage 2 FTS has saved.
Another good call out there. As a reminder, it'll be doing this for the 16th time today.
Stage 1 transonic.
And good call out there that stage 1, the booster on the left-hand side of your screen, is now transonic. Now, coming up in just about 20 seconds, we should see that landing bird startup on the first stage.
And just in case you are just joining us today, this is particularly exciting because this is about to be the first international landing of a first stage booster.
Stage 1 landing burn.
And great call out there for landing burn startup.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
Of the Falcon 9 first stage. We're now waiting for Falcon 9 to land on Just Read the Instructions, currently off the coast of the Bahamas.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy. Stage 1 landing confirmed.
And there you heard that call out for successful landing of our Falcon 9 rocket, and you can hear the cheering behind me. Welcome to the Bahamas, Falcon 9. Now, as a reminder, this was the 16th launch and landing for this first stage. And meanwhile, that second stage is on track to complete the rest of its mission today to deliver 23 Starlink satellites to low Earth orbit.
Our 60th Electron mission called Fasten Your Space Belts launched from Launch Complex 1 just 53 minutes ago, carrying a single Gen 3 satellite for BlackSky to add to its constellation of Earth imaging sats. But now it is time to unbuckle and get ready for payload deployment, because we are just a few minutes away from completing Electron's final actions that will place Gen 3 on orbit and complete our mission.
Over the past 40 minutes or so, Gen 3 has been coasting around Earth, attached to Electron's kick stage. And just moments ago, the 3D printed Curie engine ignited to start our final circularization burn that sets up payload deployment. Curie is our tiny engine we've designed and manufactured for in-space propulsion. It allows us to adjust orbits and make the changes needed to ensure satellites are delivered exactly where they need to go, which is exactly what you need when you're building out a constellation. Engine shut...
Payload deployment confirmed.